Okay. So any questions so far on the category, subcategory or classification of drones? No? Any question?
Sir, I
Yeah.
have one doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, in the license that we will acquire,
Hmm.
we can fly up to medium category, right?
Not up to medium category. In small class. Not again. Don't make mistake of saying category.
Okay,
Medium
class.
class. Okay. So you are going to authorize for flying a small class drones, which is of 2 kg to 25 kg. So this is a very big range, and maximum 90 to 95% of drones fall in this category or this class. I would say small class, 2 kg to 25 kg, big range. तो मैक्सिमम आपके वर्ल्ड के 90% ऑफ ड्रोन्स और आई वुड से 95% ऑफ ड्रोन्स आर इन दिस क्लास. इसकी मीडियम from small to medium there is nothing changed. So small, like for example the current drone which we are going giving you for training, okay, it's an aggregate drone which is of weight of 24.9, okay, almost near to 25 kg. इसमें अगर मैं बैटरी चेंज करता हूँ फ्रॉम लेट्स से करंटली बैटरी का जो वेट है उसमें मैं हायर एंड की बैटरी लगता हूँ तो मेरा वेट 2 kg से बढ़ जाता है. So then that drone cannot belong to small class. That drone needs to be recertified and needs to be called as medium class because it is exceeding 25 kg. But उसका flying तो change हो रहा है क्या? नहीं हो. So if you see small and medium class drone, there is nothing much difference. At least as of now. हाँ, maximum difference कभी आएगा जब weight class बढ़ जाएगा. Like currently even in medium class drones whatever are there, उनकी वेट मिनिमम 50 kg के अंदर ही है. They are less than 50 kg only. We do not have a medium class drone which are maybe 100 kg, 120 kg, or near to 150 kg. We do not have those kind of drones. At least in civilian or commercial space. People use from defense or big projects, specific projects, they may be using high-end medium class drones or large class. But currently, worldwide, maximum drones which have been used by civilians or commercial purposes fall under small or some, I would say 1%, not even 1% is a still big number, less than 1% in medium class. So your maximum utilization of the drone is in small class. You got it? What I'm
Yes,
to
sir.
say here?
Yes, sir.
So whatever the license you guys are going to get, as of now, it is more than enough to begin with. Yes, over the time, maybe 3 months, 6 months, or a period of year, you feel that you need to upgrade. You can upgrade from small to medium. You can upgrade from rotorcraft to hybrid. You can upgrade yourself from rotorcraft to aeroplane. Also, those categories also, as well as those class also. In month of June or August, sorry, not June, July or August, DGCA is going to release a BVLOS regulations. So currently you are flying, your license is valid only for VLOS conditions. Okay, but once they release the regulation for BVLOS, you can upgrade yourself to BVLOS rules license. So it is like, for example, you may when you become 18 years above, you get a two-wheeler license. Okay, once you are comfortable driving two-wheeler, maybe down the line, 3 months, 6 months, or a year, you start feeling that I should drive four-wheeler also. Then you go for four-wheeler license, right? Because then you are comfortable driving on the road. Similarly, in drone also, initially you start with small, which is more than enough. I mean, people have spent years on small class of drones because that is a big range, 2 kg to 25 kg. So, don't worry about rotorcraft, aeroplane, hybrid, medium, large, micro, all this. This class license, what you are getting, is more than enough to make your career or do your drone flying as of now. Okay, on your specific needs, then you can upgrade yourself according to your requirement. Okay, as of now, only medium class rotorcraft and hybrid license are available. Again, that are also in BLOS conditions only. ओके, तो आप में अगर वो लाइसेंस भी लोगे तो आपको इतना यूटिलाइजेशन नहीं होगा लाइसेंस. So as of now, whatever license you have is more than enough. Okay.
Yes,
Any
sir.
further questions on category, subcategory, or classification?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Yeah, Prayesh.
So, what's the difference between a normal road what we are flying? You said the small class and medium class, but what about the defense class or category?
I don't understand what you mean by normal. I mean, what is normal actually?
So we will be learning for small and medium class drones, right? So this is for the general civil people. But when it comes to defense, what's the difference?
Okay. So if we see from a defense perspective, even defense uses small, medium, or large class drones. Okay, for different purposes. Now, if you see small is rotorcraft. Okay, in small, though you can have a aeroplane or you can have hybrid also, but then you are not utilizing that drone for the optimal purposes. So normally you will not have aeroplane or hybrid in small class unless you have a very small minimal requirement or you are testing some prototype, then only you may have a small. But if you are trying really using a hybrid or aeroplane type of category type of drone, then it will be either in medium class or it could be a large class, which is maximally used by defense or military, like the drone which we called as predator drones. Okay, or like recently we saw in the war they have used, what was that name of that drone?
Yeah, kamikaze,
Yeah, come on, but what was the name of that drone? Any idea?
Arab.
Herod, right?
Yeah.
So that is a Israeli drone. Okay, so that drone is basically fall under either in medium class or it upon large. Okay, but those are again used by military. So military, okay, or armed forces, what we call navy, military, and air force, they don't fall under the drone rules 2021. Okay, so drone rules 2021 is not applicable to them. Okay, but we can categorize, subcategorize, or classify their drones with respect to our drone rules, but they don't follow the guidelines of drone rules 2021. They have their own set of rules and regulations. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so let's move ahead. Okay, so for your understanding, I have added some slides to give you perspective of not only from the India perspective, but again from FAA. Okay, the Federal Aviation and Academy. So this UA classification for US or even Canada or even European countries follow these classifications. Okay, so they follow with respect to range and altitude. See, these are all very large drones. Okay, I would say they maybe fall under, if you see from our drone rules 2021, these drones may fall under medium or large class drones. Okay, but they classify their drones with respect to the range and altitude. Okay, so you have example like Hummingbird, okay, Predator, which is very famous drone. Even India has acquired couple of, I think 7 or 9 drones have been acquired from US for defense by under the name Predator. Okay, then you have Skystar hybrid, Global Hawk, or MD4. Okay, so there are different time. If you see there is a subcategory written like VTOL, HALE, or MALE, or MUAV. So these are the terminology used by them. Okay, US or Canada or European countries. So let's see what are those for our understanding purposes. Okay, so if you see MUAV is nothing but micro or mini UAV. Okay, their range, again I talked about, they are following range and altitude. So their range can be less than 10 kilometers. Their altitude will be only 300 meters. But their endurance, see, 2 hours. And their maximum takeoff weight is within 30 kg. Okay, so example is MD4. So this is what we are talking about, a small quadcopter. Okay, whereas MAL or MALE, Male, okay, medium altitude long range, this is more than 500 kilometers. it can fly up to 3000 meters. That means 3 kilometers. Endurance is 24 to 48 hours, whereas MTW is 1500 to 7000 kg. Okay, example is Teleran drones or Predator drones. So these are something like this. Okay, big drones. Okay, which has a huge payload. Okay, so they are medium altitude, long endurance, because they are almost flying for 1 day or 2 days. Once they take off, they will be airborne for maybe 1 day or 2 days. That much endurance capacity they have. Okay, we'll see in the subsequent modules and slides how they can achieve that kind of endurance. Okay, what is the difference? Okay, currently our drones cannot have this kind of endurance. Our drones means the normal drones what we fly like DJI or type certified drones, they hardly have a endurance of maybe of, let's say, I would say 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, max to max 1 hour, not more than that. Okay, so they don't fall under these classifications. Then there is something called HALE. Okay, high altitude long endurance. This is, if you see the range, earlier it was 500 kilometers, this is 2000 kilometers, and altitude is almost 20,000 meters. 20,000 means 20 kilometers. This is almost like flying like your commercial airlines or commercial aeroplane. Okay, again their endurance is 24 to 48 kg. Maximum takeoff weight is almost like 4,500 kilograms to 15,000 kilograms. Okay, so this is huge drone, this Global Hawk, okay, or Halley. So these are more or less like used for weather or very long reconnaissance missions, or special purposes of drones are there which are been specifically used for specific needs. Okay, so this high altitude long range endurance mostly by US or some European organizations or countries are using this type of drones. Canada, Australia, all those people uses, or those countries uses HL drone. Very specific needs. Especially I have seen these type of drones used for studying the atmosphere, studying the weather conditions across different layers of atmosphere. We'll see the layers of atmosphere in weather and meteorology topic. Okay. Whereas VTOL UAV, okay, this is a small drone. Okay, it could be of range from 5 kilometers to 200 kilometers. Altitude it can go up to 6,000 meters, that is 6 kilometers, and the endurance can be, depending upon the type and the class or the model, it could be 20 minutes to 8 hours. Okay, so we'll see how they can achieve 20 minutes or 8 hours of endurance. Whereas maximum takeoff weight, it can be less than 220 grams, or it can be of 1400 kilograms. Okay, it could be MQ-9 drones or nano or hummingbird drones. You have a very small nano class drones which is used by US military, which is called as Hornet drones. They are hardly of weight of 250 grams. Okay, so that is again fall under this VTOL UAV. Okay, I hope you have seen those kind of drones available in the pictures or on the internet. Okay, so if you see, apart from range and altitude, there is a size also which they classify the drones. Okay, size, not on weight. Okay, India is the only country which classify the drones with respect to the weight, and that is a very good classification, I would say, with respect to any other class, because it clearly demarks the drones. Okay, here they are classifying with respect to the size is very small, small, medium, or large. Okay, so they have very small, medium, very small, mini, medium, or large. So very small is less than 50 grams, 50 centimeter. Mini is 50 centimeters to 2 meters, 5 meters to 10 meters, and 10 meters and above. Okay, so that is basically large class of drones are being used specifically as a small aircraft or a military combat or for surveillance uses. Okay, medium size could be basically payload up to 200 kg. So basically, as you add weight and the size, the drone will be heavier and bigger. So that size basically comes with respect to the size of the drone or the dimension of the drone, as well as the payload of, which will define the range, altitude, and the size of the drone. Okay, so if you see, as you change the parameters, the range, the altitude or the size, automatically their classification will change. Okay, this is with respect to FAA. Okay, or you can say even European, that is EASA, EASA, or even any other countries which follows the same guidelines what US, Canada or European countries are following. Okay, whereas with respect to India, we are following with respect to the maximum takeoff weight. Okay, so this is our category and classification of drones with respect to the drone rules 2021. Okay, I hope now you are clear with respect to the category classification of the drones with respect to the drone rules 2021. Any questions so far? Or we can now deep dive into the drone rules 2021 in detail of all the points. No? Okay. So if you see drone rules 2021 document, okay, it talks about 55 rules. There are 12 parts into that documents which talks about 55 rules. So you need to know what are these 55 rules. Okay, it is not that day one you will remember or you will understand all the 55 rules. Okay, or different categories or parts. I would say part of these rules. Some rules fall in different parts. Some rules forms in different parts. Okay, so we'll see what part it belongs to, what rule. Okay, so first understanding of the drone rule 2021 is type certification of drone rules. So what did we say? That drone rule says that any drone which we are getting registered, we are flying within the India, has to be a type certified drone. No person shall operate an unmanned aircraft system in India unless such unmanned aircraft system conforms to a type certificate or is exempted from the requirement of a type certificate under these rules. Example, the drones used by Air Force, military or Navy, they are being exempted from getting their drone as type certified drones. Okay, so they are being exempted. Even for example, your organization or maybe an educational institution or any government organization initially developing a drone, okay, can be exempted as a type certification. But once they have developed that drone and they are going to manufacture those drones or sell those drones, they have to make sure that they get their drone type certified before making mass production or selling them to the people. Okay, so they have to follow the type certifications of the drone. So what is type certification? Type certification is done under the Director General or any entity authorized by Director General in this behalf, may be recommendation of Quality Council of India or any authorized testing entity issue a type certification for a particular type of unmanned aircraft system. For example, tomorrow, let's say Kedar thinks that he want to start an organization and build a drone, okay, and he builds a prototype. He does all the testing and all the things. Now he thought that what, let me manufacture more of this and sell it. Okay, that is how he will recover the research and development cost, and he want to establish a company. Okay, he may be manufacturing an agriculture drone, he may be manufacturing a surveillance drone, or he may be manufacturing a drone for cinematography also, any type of drones. Initially, when your drone is under the development, testing and all thing, it is called as prototype, okay, or a model drone. Okay, normally during this phase it is called as prototype of a drone. Okay, where prototype drone doesn't require a type certification, doesn't require UIN number, doesn't require a pilot to be a licensed pilot also. Okay, so when you are flying a prototype, these all are exempted under certain conditions. Okay, it is not that you can take any drone and say कि ये मेरा prototype drone है and I am flying, so you don't require a type certification, you don't require a UIN number, you do not require a pilot license also. It's not that. There are certain, again, rules and regulation to be called as prototype, and where you can fly the prototype drone. Apart, once you have your prototype finalized, you can go for a type certification of drone. Now, type certification of drone, you need to apply using Form D1. If you see on the right side, there is a form called as Form D1. So, type 1 form or at a Form D1 is also for application for type certification. You can see the heading of the form over here, application of type certificate, which will actually capture all the information related to the person who is applying it and the type of the drone. So, let's see on the next slide more about this form. So, application and procedure of a type certification, any person who can apply for this, any person who intend to obtain a type certificate can make an application in Form D1 on a Digital Sky platform along with the fees specified under Rule 46 and the following. So, what can be captured in D1 form? Particular of the applicants, details and required document with respect to the prototype US as specified therein. The prototype US shall be physically handed over to the authorized testing entity specified therein. So, if you see under the DGCA, there is a body called as QCI. Okay, QCI is Quality Council of India, which certifies your drone as a type certified or gives recommendation to DGCA that this drone can be given a type certificate. Okay, so the QCI has 4 to 6 authorized testing entities. Okay, there were initially only 4, now there are 6 authorized testing entities. Those entities you can nominate, like I want to go or get my type certification done by this testing body. Okay, maybe a name by ABC. So you can specify in your application. Once you make this application and pay the fees, the authorized testing entity will get connected with you and tell you to submit the documentation and the physical prototype. So initially they were asking only one drone, but now they are asking 3 prototypes, 3 drones. So they will take 60 days to analyze your document, analyze your drone. They will be doing a lot of testing around your drones. Okay, they will ask you a lot of documentations. There is a huge activity in itself. So getting your drone type certified, you will require minimum 6 to 1 year of time. Okay, though the type certification takes only 60 days, but there is lot of back and forth happens between the authorized testing body and the person who is getting it type certified. Like for example, Kedar as an organization is applying for type certification. He has to engage with this authorized testing entity and they will be engaged with him for 60 days. Okay, or maybe 2 months period. And they will be actually testing his all prototype, whatever he has defined in his documents. Okay, then only if they are satisfied with all your documentation and passes all the test of the airworthiness, then only they will give their recommendation to Quality Council of India, and then Quality Council of India will provide that test reports to DGCA within 60 days to certify it further for type certification. So once the Quality Council of India gives its recommendations to DGCA, DGCA will take 15 days to award you the type certification for your drone. Okay, so currently there are 110 drones available on Digital Sky platform as a type certified drones. So we are using one of those type certified drones for our training purposes. We are not using a small training drones or normal drones for training our students. We are also using a huge type certified drone for training purposes. So you are getting trained on enterprise small class agribot drone. So roughly you take 75 days for your drones to get type certified once you make application on the Digital Sky platform. Okay. So acceptance and approval given for foreign regulators. So under the type certification, also the foreign regulators can also apply for the type certification. Like for example, Adani along with the Israeli company, they are working to get their drone type certified. But they are working on 2 types of drone. One is for the defense. So for defense purpose, they don't require their drone to be type certified. It will be certified by the defense themselves. Whereas they are working on another commercial drone which will be released for commercial purposes in India under the license of Adani. Okay, so that will be given approval based by the foreign regulators. Okay, so there are certain rules and regulations, like if you have to form a joint company with respect to the Adani and Israeli, so they have to have two-third directors Indians and one-third can be from Israeli. Okay, then only they will get. Now if you see, import of the drones within India is completely banned. Like, DJI drones are completely banned for importing. That's why we are not able to get directly the DJI drones. Okay, whatever we are buying, the DJI drones or any other drones are under the black market or a gray market, what we call. Okay, whereas if you want to officially import the drone, you have to approach Director General of Foreign Trade. Okay, under certain conditions, they can give you the authorization to import the drone. There are certain rules and regulations, and only certain purposes only you can apply to get the drones. Okay, like for example, education, testing, or some specific requirements are there, then you can approach Director General of Foreign Trade, that is DGFT. Okay, Director General of Foreign Trade, for getting it. So it could be DGFT, or there could be any other entity who is authorized on behalf of a central government to give you the import of your drones. Okay, so that is how the import of the drones is currently governed under the DGFT organization. There are certain drones which are exempted from getting the type certified drones. So no type certificate shall be required for operating the following, namely a model remotely piloted aircraft system. That means if your drone or your aeroplane or rotorcraft or a hybrid, which is a model, okay, like aero modeling, okay, you do aero modeling, these remotely piloted aircraft system doesn't require to be type certified. Also the nano drone, okay, the small nano drone means small, that is not from the class. I'm saying small means the size. Okay, the nano drone which is less than 250 gram is also been exempted to be as type certified. So Rohit, you don't require the notes. As I said that, I don't know whether you heard it or not, but I will be sharing you the summary sheets of whatever I am speaking about it. Okay, so you will getting all the points, and even whatever written you are saying is there in the Drone Rules 2021 document. So you will be getting all those documents by end of today's session on your mail. Okay, so don't look after the any other things to read. Okay. Still you have any question, any query, feel free to reach out to me on WhatsApp or call me directly also. Okay, you will get all your answers answered, the questions answered. So any questions on the type certification before I move to the next? Okay, so if you see the type certification of the drones, there are certain mandatory features which needs to be deployed on the drone. So there are three mandatory features which were defined in Drone Rules 2021, but out of these three mandatory features, only one is currently implemented in the type certified drones. Remaining two are still not being implemented or not being emphasized by the DGCA to be implemented in the type certified drones. So what are those three mandatory safety features? These are no permission, no takeoff. That means your drone will not have permission, you cannot take. If you do not have a permission, you cannot take for particular hardware or a particular firmware. This is called as NPNT. Okay, so there is a feature on the airspace when you apply, if you do not get permission, you cannot take off for that particular drone. Okay, however, currently this is not been implemented by the DGCA. Second mandatory feature is real-time tracking beacon. Okay, this is called as ADSB feature. Okay, this is called automatic dependent surveillance beacon. Okay, that communicates the unmanned aircraft system location, altitude, speed, and unique identification number. Like you might have seen in the movies or in the series that on the ATC screen you see as it approaches the location, the radar will detect the aeroplane with its details, right? On the screen of the ATC, they are able to see because those aeroplanes are basically broadcasting about their information, their name of their aeroplane, location of their aeroplane, altitude of their aeroplane, the speed at what it is moving in the airspace. All that information is available. But currently, the drones are not governed by this model or this mechanism. This feature is not there in any of the drones. Okay, so these two features is still yet to be implemented. This will get implemented when you have a BVLOS conditions or rules and regulations. So as of now, out of these three mandatory safety features, only geofencing capability is implemented. So all the type certified drones are having a geofencing capability. That means you are actually creating a virtual boundary around the drone. Okay, so you can create a virtual boundary horizontally as well as vertically, so that your drone is flying within that space only. The moment it tries to go outside this virtual boundary, it will become a RTL, or it will trigger a RTL, that is return to launch. That means immediately that drone will come back and land at its launch location. Okay, so only geofencing is being implemented under the mandatory safety features under drone rules 2021. Once we have the next amendment in the drone rules, probably we'll have this NTNTP feature, as well as real-time BRECM will also become a mandatory requirement, because we are hearing it from DGCA that this will become mandatory when we have a BVLOS rules and regulations released for Indian government, by the Indian government in Indian airspace. Okay, so now once you have your drone type certified, you need to make sure that your drone is also registered on the Digital Sky platform. So who can register the drones? No person shall operate an unmanned aircraft system without obtaining a unique identification number unless exempted. Okay, unless you are exempted in applying for UN number. Okay, a registration record shall be maintained by the Director General. That means DGCA will maintain all the records of your drone. So you have to just make a application on the Digital Sky platform. Once they assign you the UN number, the data related to your drone will be maintained by the DGCA. It is a responsibility of a person operating unmanned aircraft system to ensure UAS conforms to a valid type certificate for the drone. That means what they are trying to say here with respect to the drone rules 2021, that all the UN numbers what you are applying, the drone should be a type certified. However, as of now, this is not again a mandatory, because even your DJI drones or any other third party drones also can be registered on the Digital Sky platform. But those registered drones are not being categorized as type certified drones. Okay, so they are being exempted, or they are being categorized as a different categories of drones. Okay, so only valid type certified drones should always have a UN number. So you will see the drones which we are flying during our training sessions, they will be having the UN numbers. Even your certificate what you will be getting, that certificate will also have a type certificate, will also have a UN number. Okay, even your logbook will be capturing what drone you have flown during your training sessions. Okay, so that UN number you need to capture in your logbook as well as in your certificate also. Okay, so let's see how to register. So when you are registering, even for sale or deregistering also, all three categories or three functionalities, you have to get the UN number registered on the Digital Sky platform. Okay, now let's see how to get it registered. Okay, or who can get it registered. So UIN of a drone requirement and eligibility in terms of a unique identification number or UIN is a license plate of an unmanned aircraft system. Like how our car or bike has a number plate. Similarly, the drone is also having a number plate that is called as UIN, Unique Identification Number. Nano drone weighing less than 250 grams and cannot fly above 50 grams and US owned by armed forces are exempted from getting a UIN number. That means if you have a DJI Neo, okay, or DJI small nano type, okay, small, less than 250 grams, those drones doesn't require UIN number. So Kedar, I think Kedar gave the example, right? Kedar or somebody, I think Prayas, when they were flying the drone and the drone was captured by the official. Since it is a nano drone, it cannot be registered. It doesn't require, nano doesn't require you to be a licensed pilot and all things. So they are all been exempted. So if you had that knowledge, you could have asked that person that you cannot say no. But again, since that is a public place, so he might have asked you not to fly that drone or that thing. But he cannot take that drone from you. Okay, so he may ask you that how are you flying, because if you are knowing the rules and regulation, you may not have even flown the drone at that place. So the rules are such a way, there are always a catch 22 situations. So there are certain rules which will tell you that okay, you are exempted, but due to the locations, the scenario, all that also matters when you are seeing where and when and how and what you can fly at that particular locations. So you need to see as a responsible pilot whether I can fly or not. Now, for example, if you want to fly at that type of location, Prayas, okay, at Prayagraj, so that location you may have to approach the law enforcement body that I am bringing my drone, which is been exempted under the drone rules 2021, since it belongs to nano class and then it is to be flown under the 50 feet height only. So that has been exempted to be as a UIN number, to be a type certificate, and even me as a pilot doesn't require to be a certified pilot. Okay, but still I need your permissions because you are flying over the crowd, you are flying in a public place which is currently under the surveillance of the people. So they may have termed that as a special place, as a red zone or something like that at that point in time. So under those rules and regulations, you cannot fly without permissions. So there were a couple of OEMs which were given permission to fly the drones at that location during that period. Okay, one was IG Drones, and there was one more company which was given permission for crowd monitoring. Okay, that time drones were used for crowd monitoring or giving a first responder services. You know, because so many people were taking dip in the river and all the thing. There could be any possibility of danger or any issue could happen. So just to monitor and give any kind of first response to those people, there were drones used during that point in time. So that was the example what I have tried to give you. UN must be fixed on UAS as a identified and visible manner. So you see that normally in a type certified drone, it has to be a fireproof metal plate on which the name has to be inscribed. Okay, and then you have to fix it on the drone. Okay, and it can be granted, the UIN can be only granted to citizen of India, central and state government entities, Indian companies and 2/3 Indian directors. Okay, even Indian companies or even the companies in collaboration, like I give you example of Adani and Israeli company. Okay, so but in that company they should make sure that they have 2/3 Indian directors, then only they can get UIN numbers. And foreign entities leasing the unmanned aircraft. So there are companies which are leasing. They may not be having drones sold to any company within India, or they may be leasing it. But even they are leasing it for a temporary period, maybe a period of maybe 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or a year, they have to register their drone on the Digital Sky platform before they use it for their commercial purposes. Okay, so clear on the registration of the drone. So application and procedure for registration, you have to fill a form D2. Okay, so application for registration of unique identification number. Okay, so you have to fill a form D2 on a Digital Sky platform along with the fees as specified in Rule 46 and provide the requisite details. That means the details about yourself, about the drone, and what is your purpose of using this drone. So digital sky platform shall verify this detail, issue a unique identification number to the applicant. UIN of a US shall be linked to the unique manifester. Your drone might be having a serial number, your drone is having a flight controller, your drone is having a remote pilot station. Okay, so all these numbers are linked to your UIN number, like your car number or your bike number, the registration number is linked to the body of the car or the bike. It is linked to the engine of the car or the bike. Similarly, your UIN number is linked to your flight controller, to the serial number of your drone, to the RC of your drone, that is remote control of your drone, or even the ground control station here, even that is also linked. So all these four systems, your drone, your RC, your ground control station, or your serial number, that is a body number or a chassis number is there, or serial number is there of your drone. All these four things are linked to each other, and you cannot change any of this component of the drone once you have get the UIN number. Okay, so in that case, for example, okay, this is the third case or third form, that is in case when I purchase the drone for the training, setting up the drone training institute. Okay, so the drone initially was belonging to OEM called Agribot Aviation. Okay, or Infotech Aviation is the organization name. Okay, so Infotech Aviation was owner of that drone. So that drone was registered on a digital sky platform under the name of IoTech Aviation. Now I purchase, so I become the owner. So that drone needs to be transferred on my name. Okay, so the way you do the second sale, third sale of your car, you always transfer the ownership of your car to the person who is purchasing it. Similarly, in the drone also, when you are selling the drone, even you are granting the drone as a gift to a third person, even in that scenario, you should always, so the person who is flying and owning the drone should have the UIN number registered under his name. So in that case, when you have the UIN number, you can transfer the UIN number using form D3. So D3 is basically for transfer of the drone or deregistration. Now let's see what is the case in transfer. A person may transfer an unmanned aircraft system to another person by way of sale, like in case of me, or lease. Somebody leases you the drone, somebody gifts you the drone, or any other mode after providing the requisite details of the transferee and the unique identification number of the unmanned aircraft system in form D3 on the digital sky platform, along with the fee specified in rule 46. So form D3, you have to specify the name of the person, the current owner, the new owner, and the details of the drone along with the current UIN number. So that details will be maintained by the DGCA, and then they will do the transfer. So earlier the name on the drone was reflecting as IoTech Aviation. Now the name is reflected as the Bombay Flying Club. So the currently drones what I am having now, the drone's UIN number is registered under the Bombay Flying Club name. Okay. In future, let's say any drone gets damaged. Okay. So where an unmanned aircraft system registered in person name is either permanently lost, you are flying in a very remote location, or any scenario where you do not have access to that drone, you have lost that drone, or it is permanently damaged, he shall, on arriving at a reasonable conclusion that it is so lost or damaged, can apply for deregistration of the drone using application form D3 on digital sky platform along with the fee as specified in rule 46. Okay, again the record will be maintained by the Director General, and transaction number shall be generated by the digital sky platform and will be assigned to you. So this is very important in case of you crash the drone or your drone become unusable, it is damaged, or it is not been recognized. For example, Rohit, you gave me the example that you were having a drone but then it was not given back to you. So in that case also, in that scenario also, if you would have registered your drone, you would have to deregister it on the platform. Okay, I'm just giving you an example. I hope you understand what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so in case your drone is permanently lost, or you are not able to access it, or not able to use it, or it is beyond use condition, that is damaged, in that scenario you have to deregister. So if you see the example here, okay, I give you example of no person shall replace the flight mode. In case आपका drone crash हो गया, so it becomes unusable. Okay, but by changing the frame, changing the propellers, or changing some components, I can make that drone back. So in that scenario, what you should do is you should deregister that drone, then change the component, make the drone usable, and then re-register back. That means as a fresh registration you can do, and you can make your drone flying back. Okay, for example, remote control आपका खराब हो गया, you can always purchase a new remote control, but then since your remote control is linked to the UIN number, you can deregister that drone, configure your new remote control, and then re-register. I mean, do fresh registration of your drone. You will get a new UIN number, and you can start using your drone with the new UIN number. Got it? So for type certification, D1 form; for registration drones, D2 form; for transfer and deregistration, D3 form. Okay, so these are the three forms which can used for different purposes. Earlier in car, okay, the car which was released in 2018-2019, that car was having 25 forms. Now under the drone rules 2021, we have only 5 forms. Out of that, 3 forms we have already seen. Type 1, sorry, D1 is for type certification, D2 is for UIN registration, D3 is for transfer and deregistration. Okay, so now only 2 forms are remaining. We'll see in the next subsequent slides. Okay, so any questions before I move to the zone of the flying? Any questions you have so far on the? Yes, Rohit.
I want to ask how many UI number we can register on our individual
Every
name?
drone should have one UIN number. UIN number is nothing but a number plate.
Number plate.
Yeah.
So do we can
Every
like
drone,
do we can
yeah. Sorry.
do we can buy more like we can keep 3-4
You can
drones?
buy hundreds of drones.
Okay, there will be no problem while
No
taking care.
limitation as far as you have registered your drone on Digital Sky platform.
Okay, so
That
main
is
thing is that
first thing for your following the regulations.
the first like registration is important if you are flying anywhere and carrying the multiple of drones
So
also.
you can say that, right? Like for example, you're carrying your drone in aircraft or anywhere and all that. You can always say that is a registered drone. So nobody will question it, because then you have an official document. So you have already given details about your drone to the government. That registration certificate, that UIN number itself is a important point to tell to the officials that your drone is registered.
Got it.
Okay, so you can have as many drones you have. Okay, following the guidelines. Like if you have a small class, you have to register under the small class. If you have medium class, you have to register under medium class. So there in the form, I will the drone rules. It has a detailed form. Here I have just put a snapshot, but in that there is a detailed form. You can go through that form. Okay, all the points what is to be mentioned in the form. It's everything.
Got it.
Yes, Akash, you have a question.
Yeah. Can we get like a registered every other company like third party drone as a UIN number registered?
Yes, that's what I told you. Even DJI is banned. You can still register it
Yeah.
on a Digital Sky platform.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I will see there is a topic on Digital Sky platform, and after this module, I will be showing you even the drone rules 2021 document also. Okay. So you are you will have more and more clarity. So as we try to go beyond our topics and we explore things, we go through the multiple slides further on, things will start uncovering things. I hope now you are getting a good glimpse, a good information about what is about the drone industry, the rules and regulations, right?
Okay. So thank you.
Yeah. So I hope that you are clear on the form D1, D2 and D3. Let's move to the next topic, that is operations of the drone. Now, operation of the drone is again a part which is very important in your drone rules 2021. Okay, this is most important part as you being as a now a responsible pilots. Okay, you will be getting a license. So this is the most important topic from the entire topic of operations of your drones. Okay, so airspace map of an unmanned aircraft system operation, segregating the entire airspace of India into the red zone, yellow zone, green zone with horizontal resolution equal to or finer to 10 meters. Okay, so the high security area, it could be any high security area, is always under the red zone. For example, can you give me an example of high security area? Anybody can tell me what is the high security area? See, I can tell you 10 names, but then I been telling it is just one side. You also, yeah,
Airport or army area,
yes. Any other?
border area.
Border area, yes. Any other? Rohit, yes.
Same what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Mantralaya or Vedanta or something.
Like airports, airbase, international border, military, and
military locations,
yeah, parliament, Vidha Sabha,
parliament, yes, very good. Parliament,
Government.
Vidhan Sabha, Mantralay,
government
temples,
buildings, yeah,
temples,
national
national
park,
heritage locations, national heritage. Then your refineries, nuclear
nuclear also.
facilities, nuclear facilities. All these are high security areas. So all these look, even your rigs in Arabian seas or Indian oceans, all these are all high security areas. These are under red zone, or these will be called as high security area or restricted areas, and these will be always a red zone. Now, if you see these areas, Mantralay will always have some boundary. Airport will always have some boundary, right? Airport like boundary रहेगा, right? There will be a wall. So that is a high security area. But how far that red zone can extend? Your red zone will extend from the boundary of that high security area up to 5 kilometers. तो आपका विले पार्ले में या अंधेरी में या मुंबई में जो भी एयरपोर्ट है, that boundary of that airport will extend up to 5 kilometer as a red zone. So from the airport, if you see the airport, this lines, this is the boundary. From the boundary of the airport in all directions, it will extend up to 5 kilometer as a red zone. Okay, so that is your red zone. In this red zone, it is completely no for flying the drones. You cannot fly the drones in red zone, first of all. Later on, we'll see how if you want to fly a drone in red zone, what is the criteria, what is the eligibility. Okay, we'll see further. First, let's understand the zones. Then, after 5 kilometers, you extend that boundary up to 3 kilometers. That is called as yellow zone or inner yellow zone. Okay, so there is two yellow zones, inner yellow zone and outer yellow zone. Now, inner yellow zone is completely again no for flying the drones. Okay, so there is no area in which yellow zones you can fly the drones without permission. See, when I am saying you cannot fly means first of all no fly. If you have to fly, you have to apply for permissions. Okay, that is how you have to understand. So inner yellow starts from 5 kilometers to 3 kilometers add. So that is 5 kilometers to 8 kilometers of diameter. Okay, so that is your inner yellow zone. Now after 8 kilometers add another 4 kilometers. So that is from 8 kilometers till 12 kilometers is your outer yellow zone. Now outer yellow zone is basically again divided into two segments. So one segment is called as green zone. In outer yellow zone, there is a zone which is called as a green zone, that is from 8 kilometers till 12 kilometers up to 200 feet is called as green zone. Now in green zone, you can fly without permissions. Okay, it is said like that. Green zone is without permissions. But there are certain guidelines you to fly. You need to apply. or you have to take approvals even in green zone. So it doesn't mean that green zone है मतलब मैं fly कर सकता हूँ. You need to see. Like I gave you example. You are flying a drone near a forest. Now forest is a green zone, or a agriculture land is also a green zone, or a resort is also in a green zone, or a dam is also a green zone. Can I fly drone there? No. Though it is a green zone, you are allowed to fly drone with certain guidelines. That means you have to apply a permission. Okay, you take a appropriate permission to fly the drone over there. Okay, there are green zones which doesn't have any demarcation. Those location you can fly. Okay, very empty land. Okay, you can fly under the green zone. Okay, but there are those locations you need to find. Okay, you need to see whether there is no restrictions on those lands, like open areas are there are a lot of open areas where you can fly drones, but then again you need to follow some do's and don'ts. In subsequent slides we'll see what are those do's and don'ts when you are flying in green zone. Okay, so coming back to yellow zone, inner yellow is 5 kilometers to 8 kilometers. That is completely no to again fly the drones. With certain applications and approvals you can fly again in yellow zone. Yellow zone is nothing but it is a restricted zone, or betting, that is basically in which actually your civilians or airlines or commercial airlines fly. Okay, that's why there is no for flying the drones in that. But with certain applications and approval you can fly your drone in yellow zone also. Okay, then in outer yellow zone is again part of a yellow zone only it is basically from 8 kilometers till 12 kilometers. That is your outer yellow zone. So about 200 feet, about 200 feet is outer yellow zone. Again it follows the same yellow zone criteria. Again you see yellow zone is about 400 feet. It's completely no. Okay, so within the range of zero from, that is from the ground till, from the ground till 400 feet is inner yellow zone. Again from 0 to 200 feet is green zone. About 200 feet to 400 feet is outer yellow zone. In both these yellow zones you need to take a permissions, then only you can fly. Above 400 feet is completely yellow zone. This is a completely restricted civilian airspace where you have to take permissions from the respective bodies, then only you can fly the drones. Outside 12 kilometer of your range is completely green zone, but that green zone has limitation up to 400 feet only. So your green zone have a altitude limit of 400 feet. Within that limit only you can fly your drones. Beyond that it will be called as yellow zone. So anything above 400 feet is all yellow zone. Okay, so your green zone has a limitation beyond 12 kilometers from the restricted area or the red zone is your green zone, but you can fly only up to 400 feet. Above 400 feet it will cross into the yellow zone. If you are caught, your drone will be confiscated and you will be held under the drone rules 2021, which is a non-cognizable and non-compoundable crime. Okay, so that means you will not get the bail. You have to appear in the court in front of the magistrate and you have to plead for not guilty. Then only you will be, or you will be given a penalty, or you will be imprisonment also can be done in this case. Okay, so that is what about the drone rules. So any questions on the zones? Yes, Rohit.
I want to know if we almost stay in like in the red zone in the city, and we want to fly.
Mumbai location.
Yeah, so we want to fly on the same place where is red zone. So what we can do that
Yeah,
after?
yeah. I'll take up that question. Any other questions? Because I have not spoken about the approvals and the authorization. Okay, where you can't fly the drones. I'll talk about it. Any other questions you have on the red zone, yellow zone, green zone? Are we clear on the demarcation? No, we are clear from the boundary of the high security area till the 5 kilometer is the red zone. From 5 kilometers to 3 kilometers, that is from 5 kilometers to 8 kilometers is your inner yellow zone. From 8 kilometers to another 4 kilometers, that is from 8 kilometers to 12 kilometers is outer yellow zone, and beyond 12 kilometers is your green zone. Everywhere you have a limitation of 400 feet. Okay, above 400 feet is completely yellow zone. Okay, so that's how we differentiate on the zones: red zone, yellow zone, and green zone. Okay, so question from Rohit is, how do you fly if you want to fly in red zone or in yellow zone? If you want to fly, just a minute, I am getting a call from the same number. Just give me a minute. Okay, sorry. So coming back to our topic of zones. So are we clear on the zones? Right. So Rohit asked me about the approvals. Like if I want to fly a drone in red zone or yellow zone. First of all, when you have to go for flying in a red zone means it's a restricted area. So let's say take example of airport. If you are to fly in an airport area, okay, you have to take the permission from the Airport Authority of India and the central government. Okay, that is central, that is the Ministry of Civil Aviation. These are the two bodies from where you have to take the permissions. If they approve and you have a valid reason to fly in that region, then only they will give you the permission. Okay, for example, Mumbai, what is that? IIT Mumbai, they also want to fly their drones. Okay, in their premises. Okay, they have their own premises. Within their premises, since it is under the Mumbai region and Mumbai region is completely under the red zone, they cannot fly the drones. So they have to apply to Airport Authority of India and get the permission from the central government also, that is Ministry of Civil Aviation. From these two bodies, once they get the permission, then only they can fly the drones in their location. That is also within their location, not outside. उनको permission मिला मतलब it's not that you have to define where you are actually going to fly that drone. So that area you have to define when you are making that application. So only for that specific area and with valid reason, then only they give you the permission. So it is very difficult to get the permission in red zone until unless you have a strong connect and strong reason to use the drone in the red zone. Again, in the yellow zone also, the same criteria is there. but yellow zone is being monitored by ATC. So you have to take the permission from the ATC as well. Okay, so you have to get connected with the ATC. Take their first you have to take the permission from Orcot or Authority of India, the central government, local law enforcement bodies, all that, and then finally you have all this permission. Then you go to ATC that you have got all the necessary permission from the bodies, and now I want to get your final approval on flying my drone on that particular location for that particular region. So once the ATC approves, then there is a procedure we'll see in the subsequent model, that is in radio telephony, where we need to see how we communicate with the ATC when we are flying a drone in yellow zone. Okay, so that is how we should apply for the approvals for red zone and yellow zone. Clear?
Sir, if we don't want to fly in on the airport, embassy, and the parliament, and we want to fly the drone in only in the city, like on the space where there is nothing related to the government.
For example, this problem is only with respect to Mumbai, because Mumbai being is the financial capital of India and it has all other security reasons, political reasons, and all that things. That's why the entire city is under red zone.
Red zone.
So they are not giving permission, but you can approach. For example, like there are people who are flying drones for like real estate monitoring,
Yes.
or surveillance or cinematography kind of activities they are doing. So you first approach the local enforcement body. For example, I want to fly a drone in Vasai region, so I will approach the local police station first. Then they will guide us what approval, more approval. Like since Vasai comes under the coastal region also, so we have to take a permission from coastal region also. For example, when I am taking under, I am flying a drone at Palghar region, so I have to take a permission from the local magistrate also. Like for example, what is that called? Local administrative collector. From the collector, I have to approach the collector for the permissions. Okay, not only the local law enforcement policy, but also from the collector, I have to make application in a collector office also. Okay, and then they told me that where are you flying? I was flying the drone near the a fort, okay, which comes under the Heritage Society of India again. So I have to approach them. So again, you need to see where and what purpose and what area, what location you are flying. Based on that, you have to, like for example, even if I'm flying a drone, though it is in a green zone, I may have to take approval of a local police as well as the permission from the Gram Panchayat also. So the more approvals and more things you take it, you will be more easy for your flying. Lot of people without this approval fly the drones. वो कैसा है ना, like पकड़ा गया तो पकड़ा गया, नहीं पकड़ा गया तो काम हो गया. Something. Okay, that scenario. So there are cases where people have been caught. Like recent times when the war was happening, there was a person who flown the drone in Powai location, and unfortunately his drone got crashed, and somebody made a complaint. So that guy was caught. He was held. His drone was confiscated and all the things. But we don't know what has further happened. But that was the news in the news. That is how it is. So until you have a right approvals and you have approached the right bodies for approvals with the valid reason and valid application, then only you can get it. But there are people who are flying without permissions also. Okay, जैसे for example मैंने देखा काफी बार, like nowadays drones have been extensively used by these people, the real estate people, for showcasing their properties or showcasing the progress of their properties and other things. But they are doing it for their purpose. They are saying that we are doing it only in our premises, within our premises, or they may be taking permission from the local police only. So police will not officially give you the permission, but they will say, okay, you fly, but within the limit. अगर कुछ हो गया तो you are responsible for it. We don't know about it. We will not stop you from flying it, but if something happens or somebody makes a complaint, we may come and stop you from flying. That's it. That is how currently people are doing it. हाँ, ऑफिशियली अगर आपका कोई प्रोजेक्ट है, रिक्वायरमेंट है, यू कैन ऑलवेज ऑफिशियली अप्रोच इट फॉर परमिशन.
Officially, non-officially, the cost will be very different, I think so.
Yes.
And non-officially, we mostly fly. So police doesn't give a written permission. They just
Correct.
tell us to fly. And you can fly. If anything happens, we'll stop you out. And
Yes,
for officially, it will be very high demand of amount. Maybe we'll charge according to the area
correct.
and
So
whatever
because
they are.
they may deploy 1 or 2 person also, like law enforcement, the police. They may say, okay, I will send you 2 people to see whether you are flying within the range and all the things, so that it is controlled and governed to that case.
Yes,
So that is
yes,
also possible. But then again, it is a hazard. I mean, tedious work to get those permissions and all the things, especially in Mumbai city. Especially in Mumbai city. Like for example, we have to fly. Like we were doing one project for flying a drone at Daulatabad port. So there we have approached the not agriculture, Archaeological Society of India, as well as what is this, Geological Society of India. These locations or these bodies we have approached. We have taken the local permission, and since it was a government project, we were given the approvals to fly the drone at that location for 2 days. That they have given a limitation of the area as well as the time frame also. Within that 2 days, you have to fly your drone and complete your activity. That is how the approvals are being given. So in that case,
uh,
no charge. As far as there was no charge, but it took for this particular application, it took almost 45 days for us to get.
45 days.
45 days लगा था. Because first of all, as you rightly said, पहले तो ना. First they start with no.
Yeah, correct.
They will try to tell you, मेरा नहीं, go to Archaeological Society, go to Geographical Society, Geological Society of India. Okay, if you are flying in a forest area, go to Forest Department. If you are flying near the dam, go to Irrigation Department. All that sort of things happens. If even I am flying a drone near the outside boundary, like there was one student who was flying a drone for pre-wedding shoot outside the forest area. उसको भी पकड़ा, उसका ड्रोन भी कॉन्फिस्केट किया, उसको छोड़ने को तैयार नहीं है. ओके, देन दे टुक अंडर टेबल 5,000 रुपीज, तब जाके उसका ड्रोन, क्योंकि ड्रोन वाज लाइक एयर 3S विच इज 1,50,000, 1.5 लाख का ड्रोन था. तो यू कांट लीव 1.5 लाख का ड्रोन विद देम. एंड सो ग्राम पंचायत लोकल सरपंच को इन्वॉल्व करके थोड़ा सा बातचीत करके we got that sorted out. Then they said, okay, give some chai pani kind of thing and all that thing. So तो पहले तो 10,000 मांग रहा था, फाइनली 5,000 में सेटल किया वो बंदे ने. So that
Depend on police to police.
police to
like,
police, person to person, location to location, all that things. Okay, and
only
then
only one thing is that, sir. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you between. Suppose it's related to my portion. There is a area where called RA Forest in Mumbai,
yes,
and there is maybe there is animal and other things also, and the forest also. Do
Yes.
we can fly like with taking consent permission? Do they allow permission in RA to fly?
I have no idea, because see, even Mumbai IIT also fall under that same region only. Okay,
Yes.
even the part of IIT Bombay is part of RA region only. Okay, so they have approved them also. But again, IIT Bombay is a government entity, and under the government entity, see, if you make application and have a valid reason for doing your things, they may give you permissions. But then how much time and how, that is a questionable thing. That is one thing. And then again, as I said, that permission is limited, time bound and area bound. Okay, so I know,
Got it.
I have been associated with IITB for these things, and I know how they are taking permission. They are taking permission since even before the drone rules 2021 from the Airport Authority of India. Okay, so they have, even for them also, it takes, sometimes it takes 1 month time to get approval, and every year they have to renew that permission. Though their limitation of flying is within the campus. Okay, even they are flying within the campus, they have to take permissions, and even that permission takes sometimes 1 month period. So normally when the lease is getting, I mean the permission is getting expired, they almost apply 2 months ahead of time to renew it.
Got it, sir.
They have a good connect with the government officials, and then the application is coming from IITB, so they get it still on time. It takes 1 month. I have seen it 1 month. Okay, so
Okay.
to case, doing application. Like for example, your organization, you're doing behalf of your organization. Probably you will get it because you can influence them, right? If as an individual, if I go and I say मुझे मेरे को मेरा project के लिए करना है, I need to have a strong influence and strong reason to do that. If I'm doing some kind of a research on animals, and for that purpose I need, so from a university I can take a letter from university, from my guide and all that things I can approach, but how much time and how, I have no idea about it. Nobody knows about it. Nobody can tell you about it. How it case to case basis goes. Okay.
Okay, so I'm done with.
Yeah, I think you are clear on the zones and the approvals required. So in red zone is completely under the central government of India. Yellow zone, again the necessary approvals from the local law enforcement bodies along with the ATC approval. In green zone, you don't require permissions, but you have to approach the local enforcement body and the people who are involved or the region which are there. Like for example, if I am taking a wedding shoot, doing a wedding shoot in a resort, so resort is owned by the resort owner. So first thing you have to, when if you are doing a project over there, you have been approached by the wedding person. Okay, the wedding जिसका हो रहा है वो बोलेगा ना, he will come there. Okay, you come, my wedding is happening in resort. So you have to tell that person who is conducting the wedding and all the thing, tell that you should get a permission from the resort owner and any other permission required to fly. No, there should be no objection from anybody to fly the drone within that resort. Okay, if you get that permission, then you are safe. That means you have followed the procedures and you can safely do your flying. Okay, don't cross the safety and security regulations and the height regulations in that resort also, though you have a permissions. Okay, fly within your limits. Okay, don't think that कि मेरे पास permission है, resort owner का है and all the things, I can fly above 400 feet. First of all, you are not required to fly the drone above 400 feet during those activities unless you are really doing some kind of a surveillance or some kind of a footage. But try to limit yourself within the restrictions or limitations what you have. Clear? Can I move ahead now? Okay, so now you understood about the zones, but since as a responsible drone pilot, you need to have some mandatory pre-flight verifications on zonal restrictions. So I have to actually showcase you the zones, actual real zones. Okay, after this slide, I will show you the real zone, how to check the zones and all that things. Then you will have a clarity. Okay, so before commencing an unmanned aircraft system operation, a remote pilot shall mandatorily verify the digital sky platform for any notification or restriction applicable to unmanned aircraft system operation in intended area of operations. For example, when we are flying a drone for training, though our location is authorized location, it is a authorized flying base, still as a responsible drone pilot and an instructor, my duty is to manage, monitor and see whether there is any current restrictions on that location. Example, till 4th of December 2024, Pune region was completely free zone. Okay, bearing only the airport location. Okay, rest of the Pune district was completely a green zone. But from 4th of December, for next 3 years, entire Pune district is now converted it as a red zone. So you cannot fly drones in Pune region without permission. So there were some RPTOs. RPTOs means like how we are RPTO, Bombay Flying Club is a RPTO, Remote Pilot Training Organization. There are some RPTOs where there in Pune district, there were 3 RPTOs which got affected because of this red zone. So they cannot fly their drones for 1 month unless they got special permission from the government of India to conduct their trainings. So their training was completely on halt from 4th June 2024. Okay, they got permission back on 5th of January 2025. So almost for period of 1 month they cannot fly. Currently, even still the district is under red zone, but they have got only special permission to fly within their base for training purposes under VLOS condition only for a period of 1 year. Every year they have to renew their permission till that red zone is available. Okay, so that is a responsibility of a pilot to mandatorily verify the digital sky platform for any notification or restriction applicable to unmanned aircraft operation in intended area of operation. Currently, like if you see all the northwest states, right from Jammu Kashmir, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, and Gujarat. All these states are currently in red zone. Not only the boundary, but entire states is completely, that northwest corridor is completely under the red zone. I think it is still tomorrow. Okay, maybe after 3rd June they will revoke that as a red zone. Okay, or they may extend it also. Okay, so they will see on the case basis, they will change it, but currently these are all states are under red zone. Similarly, even Nasik earlier only airport was under the red zone, but they have extended further more space as a security concern. Okay, because that's the area where they conduct the firing range. Okay, test firing they do. Okay, so that area is also, because of the defense purpose, that the area is also been now converted as a red zone. So that's what we are saying. You have to mandatorily verify, pre-flight verification, what we call, to check whether that region where you are flying your drone is not under the red zone. Okay, or not under a temporary red zone. We call it as a temporary red zone. So that's what we say. It is a dynamic nature of zoning. So central government may update the airspace on a digital sky platform for unmanned aircraft system operation from time to time in order to change the status of area from one zone to another zone. That means they can change green zone or yellow zone to a red zone, or red zone can be converted back to yellow zone or a green zone. Okay, so this will come once they make the amendment. Within 7 days it will be applicable on the airspace map, that this zone will be converted as a red zone. Okay, it's like for example, during the period of Independence Day or during the Republic Day, even during that period, 7 days also Delhi region or even certain regions in India are being converted as a red zone also, temporary. Okay, for example, Vasai, Virar, and Palghar region during 21st of December till 31st of January. Okay, during that 40 days period, that region is completely converted as a red zone also. Vasai, Virar, and Palghar region, because of the high security and during that period of the vacation, as well as your Republic Day and all the things. So during Independence Day, that zone is also converted again is a red zone, temporary. Okay, temporary period. Even during some important activities like election hai, during that period also certain areas can be converted as a red zone. This Palghar was converted into the red zone during there was election in that region because of the coastal region. Okay, that's why it depending upon nature. So it depends upon the central government and the law enforcement body. They can convert certain regions or zones into a red zone. Okay, so let's see what is a temporary red zone. If there is an urgent need of a temporary prohibited unmanned aircraft system flights in a specified area, the concerned state government or union territory administration or a law enforcement agency may declare a temporary red zone over such a specified area for period not exceeding 96 hours. Okay, so that will be not exceeding 90. This is a temporary red zone. Okay, temporary red zone can be declared. Just a minute. Sorry guys. So temporary red zone may be declared by officer not below the rank of superintendent of police or his equivalent, or such officer shall endeavor to keep the size of temporary red zone reasonable and not excessive. For example, I'll tell you example, like when I was flying a drone during the same month, December month, I was actually conducting a demo at Palghar region. Okay, Palghar region for some students, college students, and the since it was I was doing inside the resort. Okay, it was a privately owned farmhouse. I was not flying a drone even above 50 feet. Okay, so I was within the limit, within everything. I was not doing, and it was just a demo. Okay, we are not flying it for commercial or anything. It was demo to the college students about the drones. But even that point in time, it was stopped. I mean, there was somebody had a complaint, some neighbor has complained that there is drone flying happening inside the farmhouse and all that things, and the police had come and asked us to stop the activity, though our activity was already gone over. Okay, by the time they came, our activity was over. Okay, so they came and asked, so we said we were doing only demo to the college students, we were showing the components, and we are showing only just by taking off and landing. Okay, within the range below 50 feet only we were flying it. So we were within every rules and regulations, and since it was under the private firm, okay, private organization within the farm. Okay, so again it was managed by the farm owner, so I didn't have any worry whether I need to take the permissions. So I was completely safe in that area. But still they said, okay, no, but you are doing it, you should get a permission. Okay, so we said, okay, fine, I will give the application next time when I am doing it. So just though I didn't have any requirement to fly a drone again at that location or next time also, but just to know what could be the applications or what could be the approvals, I will get it. So for test basis, I said, okay, let me do a application. So what I did is, the person who came from that police station, I went with the 2 copies of application and gave them application that I need so and so date. I gave a random date, like, okay, I want to fly on 31st of December to demonstrate to my guest about the drone flying. Okay, that point in time, that police station said that you will not get a permission from our location. You have to go to the main police station, which is at the railway station location. So I said, fine. I went again to that main police station. I made application again over there and gave it to them. They took my application, but they refused to give me acknowledgement of it. They said, okay, only we'll keep it. We are aware of it. You can fly as per whatever you have mentioned. I have mentioned within the farm and within the 50 feet of area or altitude, I'll be flying a drone for my guest for demo purposes. That only said, but they didn't acknowledge my second copy. Okay, they said, okay, only we have this copy. You can just make, in case anybody asks you, or you can tell your local police station that you have already made the application to the main police station and you have intimated you can fly on that particular date. Okay, nobody will question you, but they didn't acknowledge or they didn't give me a written application or acknowledgement on my second copy as is. Okay, so that is what I think, but I made my application to the superintendent of police that point in time. Similarly, when I had a requirement to fly in a Pargal region during election and all that, I have to give application to collector. Okay, but none of these bodies have given me any written acknowledgement or written acknowledge my second copy as a reference for me that I am flying my drone. They said, okay, we have an intimation, you can fly. Nobody will say, in case somebody asks you, you say that you have already given the application to that. You can show your duplicate copy, but that duplicate copy is just a duplicate copy of my primary application, but which doesn't have any acknowledgement. With only that, I had made my flight. Though my flight was very limited and within very small area and small time frame, we have done it. Okay. So now, if you see, such temporary red zone is been created for 96 hours. The endeavor shall be made to inform the digital sky platform or other electronic means to all holders of unique identification number who are within the distance of 5 kilometers from the perimeter of the temporary red zone of the restriction so declared under the sub rule 1. But in case no such information is received, it doesn't mean that you can't say that कि मुझे मालूम नहीं था. I am not aware of this temporary red zone. It is a complete responsibility of the remote pilot to verify the zonal restriction on the digital sky platform before commencing an unmanned aircraft system operations. That means End of the day, it is the remote pilot's responsibility to verify whether the flying location is under any kind of a zonal restrictions or temporary red zone. Okay, if in that case he is not allowed to the fly a drone in those locations until unless those restrictions have been removed or he has a authorization for that. Clear on the temporary red zone? Okay. So operations of UAS, carriage of dangerous goods. No person shall carry dangerous goods on unmanned aircraft system unless such operation is compliance with aircraft rule. Okay. So that is basically there is a car. Okay, which was released in 2003. What are the dangerous goods? For example, arms and ammunitions, drugs. Okay, firecrackers, or all those things which are dangerous. They are not supposed to be carried on the UAS. You have heard a lot of cross-bordering drone coming with the arms and ammunition, drugs, and all the things. So those are all dangerous operations. You cannot conduct those operations. Okay. Second is right of way. No person operating an unmanned aircraft system shall violate the right of way of a manned aircraft and shall remain clear of all manned aircraft. Okay, that means what? The first preference is always given to the commercial aircraft or a manned aircraft. Okay, unmanned aircraft has a second priority. So even if you are flying a drone in a yellow space, if that in point there is an aircraft or any civilians aircraft operations are happening, you will be given the second priority. The first priority will always remain with the manned aircraft. Okay, in case of any accident, okay, so mandatory reporting of accident no later than 48 hours after the accident involving unmanned aircraft system take place. The remote pilot shall unmanned aircraft system shall report the accident to the Director General through the Digital Sky platform. So on the Digital Sky platform, you can always make a application for your crash, okay, or your accident. Similar to like how we have if you have a crash with a bike or a car, we go to police station and record our FIR, right? We make an application that so and so accident has happened and so thing is there. So you have to apply, because again that is important with respect to your insurance also, as well as if there is a property damage or any human is got damage, is got fatal accident or any kind of accident or loss of life also. In that case, we need to make a application, or you have to report to the police station. Similarly, in case of drone, if there is any kind of accident and there is a damage or there is any accident with respect to the life or a property, you need to make a reporting of your accident on the Digital Sky platform. Then only you can claim your insurance also. The insurance company will always ask you for this report. Okay, without that report, they will not clear your claims also. Clear? So let's see now what are do's and don'ts. Okay, so first, whenever you are flying a drone, know the characteristics of the aircraft and how it fly safely. Okay, so you should be well versed with your drone. There are certain pre-checklists you need to follow. Okay, if you are flying any other third-party drone, ask your OEM to provide you the pre-checklist. Ask your OEM to provide you the training to safely fly that drone. Ensure the aircraft is safe for flight before you operate. So these first 2 points will be demonstrating you during your flying sessions and will be following during our all flying sessions. Okay, so there is certain procedures, SOPs to be followed when you are flying your drone. So that is called as pre-checklist. Okay, so I will be telling you during your flying sessions about these things in more detail. Okay, so there are certain things you every individually has to follow. So when we are flying, now we are 6 people who are flying the drones. So every 2 people will form a team. Okay, so every 2 people will be a team. Okay, so you will be like a pilot and co-pilot to each other. So for example, let's say Rohit and let's say Akshay, they are as a team. Okay, so when Rohit is flying the drone, he will become a pilot and Akshay will become a co-pilot to him. And when Akshay is flying the drone, Akshay will become a pilot and Rohit will become a co-pilot. So there are certain points which you need to follow and help each other flying the drone safely. Any commercial drone, any big drone, like for example, I give an example of cinematography. Okay, when you are flying of drones for shooting, okay, it is not one single person can fly drone. There could be a pilot who is flying the drone for flying purposes, but there could be a second person who could be also a pilot, but he is controlling the camera. Okay, he is controlling the gimbal. There would be a separate remote for him to fly that camera. Okay, the flying is done by a pilot, and the camera, the flying, the movement of the camera is being controlled by a cinematographer or the person who is actually controlling the camera, but he cannot be also a pilot also. So there is a pilot and co-pilot activity you need to fly. In that scenario, you have to fly. For example, when you are flying a drone in training session, you have to make sure that your drone is, airworthiness. It is flying for airworthiness. That means battery is been put proper, propellers are proper, the landing gear is proper, everything needs to be physically checked. Then you need to make sure that on your RC there are certain parameters like how many GPS signals you are getting, how many virtual dilution of precision or horizontal dilution of precision, that is variance in your height and variance in your horizontal variations of your location can be accepted. That you need to verify. You need to see what is your battery level when you are flying your drone. You need to see what mode you are flying the drone. These parameters you need to regularly verify. So as you are flying the drone under visual condition, the pilot is always seeing the drone. He is very less monitoring the ground control station or the remote control. Though remote control is in hand of the pilot, it is the job of a remote pilot job of the co-pilot to assist the pilot in monitoring these parameters also. Okay, so that is how you will be flying. So every time we are flying the drone, the person who is flying and his co-pilot will be a team who will be flying the drone in a safe and secure way. Okay, so fly only in a good visibility and weather condition. So when you are flying the drone, you have to make sure that you have a good visibility and good weather condition. Keep your aircraft within your sight at all times. That is VLOS conditions, visual line of sight. You cannot fly your drone beyond your visual line of sight. In subsequent slide, we will see what is actually our visual line of sight. I will ask you a question also that point in time. Ensure the operation of transmitting device of unmanned aircraft system complies with IDA requirements. That means you are actually flying drone again under visual line of sight within the range of your drone and the RC. Okay, don't fly drone beyond your visual range or flying range of your remote control. That is what it's saying. That means transmitter and receiver should always at any given point in time they should be able to communicate with each other. Okay, or else your drone may go stray away, or what we call that as a fly away situation or the stray away situation. In that scenario, you may lose your drone or you may crash your drone into somebody property or somebody person also. So you have to follow this. Keep sufficient distance from people, property and other aircraft. Other aircraft means it can be manned or unmanned aircraft also. Okay, so these are do's, vice versa will be don'ts. So don't fly the aircraft over any crowd. First of all, you are not allowed to fly a drone of the crowd. Okay, so you have to fly, you have to take the permission, respective permission. Even you are flying for wedding, take the permission from the wedding person. Okay, the person who has authorized or given you the contract, take a writing from that you are authorized to fly the drone for the wedding purposes within the limited area of your operation within the timelines. To be on safe side, क्योंकि क्या होगा ना, for example you are flying, you have discussion, you have engagement, there could be a person in a wedding who might be from some authority or something, he may come and question you like आप fly कर रहे हो, आपके पास permission है क्या? Can always say that I have a permission from the person who has given me the contract. If there is any concern, please go and talk to him. So you are safe from your side. Simple, clear? Don't fly an aircraft weighing more than 7. See, this is very standard slide. Here it is 7 kg. For our case or our rules, it is 2 kg. Because beyond 2 kg is small class. Okay, less than 2 kg is micro. So for micro class, you don't require permissions and you can fly. Okay, no, for non-commercial purpose. Again, if you are doing it for commercial purposes, you need permissions. Okay, do not suspend or carry or attach any substance or item to the aircraft unless it is manufactured to hold item. I have seen people using DJI Phantom drone where they have put a box below the drone near the gimbal area, and that box holds flowers, and they have made a mechanism where that flower mechanism can be opened on the bride and groom, okay, or the people, or wo drop karta hai flowers, okay. Or there are people who had put drones with flying this thing also, perfume, okay, it spreads fresh fragrance segment over the people, okay, which is very dangerous. Even that component can go into your eyes or in your ear or in your mouth also, and somebody could get affected because of that. You are not allowed to do all those things, okay, until unless you have a device to do that all the things, okay. But again, for doing that activity also you need to have a permission. So do not drop or discharge any item or substance from the aircraft, okay. This is no for any location. Do not fly where you may interfere with the emergency services provider or over moving vehicles where you endanger or distract drivers. Lot of people fly karte hai DJI drones. They capture the moving trains. They capture moving vehicles and all that things. I have seen lot of these such kind of videos on Instagram. Okay, people who owns the thing, they do this kind of thing. So don't do these things because you may distract or endanger the people who are driving, the car or vehicle or other things. So don't do unless you are required to do it. Like for example, you may be doing a shooting. In that scenario, with the approvals and permissions, you can do that. But again, you need to follow the guidelines. Okay, that you can do it. Okay, as far as you have approvals and permissions and following the safety security guidelines. Do not fly within the 5 kilometer of any airport or military airbase or high than 200 or 400 feet. This is the normal drone rule as per the red and yellow zone regulations. So these are the do's and don'ts for your drones. Okay. So any questions so far? So these were all about the operational activities. Okay. This is also covered in your drone rules 2021 document. Any questions so far on this, or we are good to move forward? Okay, so these are the important slides with respect to our drone operations. Now, whatever the remaining slides are there, these are more of less like a informational kind of things. Okay, so next is about the remote pilot certificate. Who can? I mean, this you are already aware that you need to be above 18 and less than 65. You need to have 10 certificate, 10 pass certificate, and you have to complete this training from the RPTO. Okay, training from the authorized remote pilot training organization, then only you will get the remote pilot certificate. Okay, who can get the certificate? So who have completed the training within the 7 to 10 days. Okay, so I will or my organization or my team will be actually behalf of you will be applying on the digital supply platform or to DGCA with the form D4. Okay, so application for remote pilot license to be filled by RPTO. So as an individual, you are not supposed to fill this form. I will be filling this form, or my team will be filling this form. Behalf of you, we will be making application to DGCA. We will be giving the fees required to make that application to DGCA, and within 7 to 10 days, you will get your remote pilot certificate. The individual in respect to whom an application has been made, the authorized remote pilot training organization shall issue a remote pilot certificate through Digital Sky platform. So once you complete your 7 to 10 days, once we have the certificate available with us, we will call you to our organization, that is our BFC office in Juhu. From there, you can come and collect. So I will personally most of the time handling over the certificates to you in the Bombay Flying Club office. Okay. So here the form is D4. Okay. So we have seen D1, D2, D3. Now this is form D4. This form you don't require to fill. This form will be filled behalf of you by RPTO. Okay. So validity of your license will be valid until unless it is suspended or cancelled. It will be valid for 10 years. The moment you get the license, your license is valid for 10 years until unless it is been suspended or cancelled for some reason. In case your this is suspended or cancelled, or they have some objections about your license, you can always apply, you can always justify. If they are satisfied with your answer, they may revoke your license back, or they may suspend or cancel your license completely. Okay, if you complete 10 years, it can be renewed back again after having a refresher course, and we will again reapply for your renewal of your license, like how we normally do it for our driving license. Same thing goes for the this license also. Now, who is exempted from having the remote pilot license? It is the person who is flying a nano drone. So understood why I told that when you are flying a drone at Prayagraj, a nano drone doesn't require type certification, nano drone doesn't require UIN number, nano drone doesn't require a pilot license also. All these three criteria are being exempted. But since you are flying on the crowded area, that's why they hold your drone. Okay, that was the only reason. If you are approached with the proper approvals and application, they would have not hold your drone. Okay, again, the micro drone is also exempted in obtaining the license, but it is only for non-commercial purposes. If you are flying a micro drone, you need to have a license also for that. Okay, so as of now, none of the organizations have given the license authorization for micro also. We have already made an application to DGCA. We have yet to get the authorization for micro license also. Okay. Okay, so that was our D4 form and the remote pilot license. Now, as I said, every drone which you purchase, you fly, you have to make sure that you take the drone insurance. Maybe depending upon your activity, whether it is for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatever it is, you can take drone insurance as per your requirement. It is governed under the same Motor Vehicle Act of 1988. Okay, so same act is applicable since drone is also considered as a mobility device. Okay, so under the same criteria, Motor Vehicle Act, same rule and application, you will get a insurance from the insurance companies. Okay, and you can apply for compensation in case of damage, life or property caused by such unmanned aircraft system. Okay, so your insurance is regulated by Insurance Regulatory Development Authority of India, that is IRDA. So earlier when drone rules were released, there was none of the insurance company were available with the insurance. Slowly the insurance company started giving insurance for the drones. So currently I think there are 5 to 6 drone insurance companies which are giving you the insurance. So moment you have a purchase of your drone, make sure you take the insurance. Like for example, our drones which we are flying for training, even those drones are being insured. Without that, we do not get an approval for the authorization of training. Okay, so that is mandatory for us. Similarly, if you are doing flying for commercial purposes, make sure your drone is covered under the drone insurance under the third party rule. Again, your nano drone is exempted. See, nano drone, the 250 gram, less than 250 gram drones are exempted. So you don't require type certification, you don't require UIN, you don't require to be a pilot, licensed pilot. Also, your insurance is also been exempted. Okay, for nano drones. So nano drones are very small drones. So drone insurance, why it is important? Because drone is a object which is prone to crash owing to the bad weather, power failure or inexperienced pilot. Drone crash means it can damage your drone, that is the hull or the chassis, what we call. Damage to the payloads, like for example cinematographer drones are very high quality drones, their cameras, their all those are very expensive. Okay, the thermal drones, they are very expensive drones. So you should always have a drone insurance. Which drone is carrying the hull? Damage to any person or property. The bigger drone, the small class drones, like it can start with 2 kg to 25 kg. Imagine 25 kg drone hitting a person. It is almost a fatal accident. Okay, it can cause very severe damage to the person or a property also. So in that case, you want to compensate either the person or a property owner. You need to have covering all those things aspect under your insurance. Okay, so the valid drone insurance policy would cover either or all of the above damages. So you need to read your insurance document, whether it is covering only the drone, whether the payload is covered, whether the property or the life of the person is also being covered under insurance. Depending on the coverage and the liability, your premium will be defined. So there are two criteria. One is the time for which you are holding the insurance and what is covering. Okay, whether it is only drone, payload, person or property. Depending on this criteria, the premium will define. Okay. So mandatory third party available plans, as I said, choose from the flexible plan based on the flying needs, 4 hours, 1 day or 1 year. Okay, so when you are going for insurance, they will ask you the serial number, UIN number and the photographs of your drone. Then you can make a application for the drone insurance. Okay, the third party liability covers are like 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs depending on plan. So depending upon your liability covered, your what is this called, premium will be defined by the insurance company. Okay, so that's about the insurance. Last is the topic we have heard a lot of time about, the filling the forms D1, D2, D3, D4 and D5. So D3 up to D1 to D4 is covered under 100 rupees. Only the D5, which is the authorization or renewal of authorization remote pilot training organization. This is for us, okay, BFC or any other organization like us who are actually training people. For them only their D5 form is required to be filled and they have to pay fees of 1000 rupees. For rest of other forms from D1, D2 and D3 and D4, it is only 100 rupees fees is applicable. Earlier this fees was ranging from 3000 to 5000 to 25,000 rupees. Okay, now this has been changed completely under the drone rules 2021. Very simplified. So up from 25 forms, we have only now 5 forms. From 25,000 rupees of fees, now we have only paying 100 or 1000 rupees. That's it. So it's so simplified they have done in the new drone rules 2021. Okay. So last summary. So cancellation and suspension, as I told you, the Director General of Civil Aviation can cancel your license, certificate, authorization or approval granted under these rules. Okay, so if you do any mistake or do anything wrong, or you do not follow the rules and regulations, safety, security protocols, your authorization of license, certificate, authorization or approval can be cancelled by the DGCA. Okay, you will be given time to justify not guilty, but if you do not give that justifications or valid reasons, your authorization, license, certificate or approval can be cancelled or suspended indefinitely. Okay, so penalties, there are penalties. Earlier the penalty was ranging from 25 lakh rupees. Now it has been limited only up to 1 lakh rupees. So as per the under the drone rules 21, government can only give you penalty up to 1 lakh rupees, not more than that. Okay, but you will have to give the valid reason. If you are not guilty, then only it can be waived off, or else you have to pay the penalty, and then only you will be revoked with the penalty notice. Okay, Director General of Civil Aviation has the full power to inspect the person, the facility, the drone, anything related to unmanned aircraft system, or even the documents. Okay, they can demand a document to you any given point in time. They may ask you that show me your valid UIN number. So whenever you are flying a drone, like for example valid for a wedding purpose, you should always carry your drone license, you should always carry your UIN number, certification, all those things, whatever the legal documents you have from the DGCA, you should always carry with you to showcase to the people in case anybody stops you from the flying the drone. Okay, anybody can demand those things. Okay, you will be getting your pilot logbook also. So if you are flying a small class drone or utilizing a small class drone which is a type certified, you have to make entry in that logbook also whenever you are flying the drones. So I will be showing you how to make those entries also on day 5. Okay, so those documents or records will be asked or demanded by the Director General of Civil Aviation any given point in time. So they have a full power to inspect any given point in time. So you should be always available with those details. Okay, so this is the last slide. This is just a summarize of the drone rules 2021. So drone registration is compulsory for all pi class. Okay, whether it is nano, micro. So why nano? Because there are nanos which goes above 50 feet also. In that case, you have to register your nano drone also. Okay, if it is less than 50 feet, then you don't require. Okay, that's the criteria what is being said. But for micro, small, medium, large, yes, it is mandatory. For drone certification, that is a type certification. For nano, it is exempted. That's why there is no tick mark over here. For micro, small, and medium and large, you need to have a certification. Pilot license is required for micro, small, medium, and large. As of now, RPTOs are only authorized to give you small and medium. We had made an application to DGCA for authorizing us to give the micro class license also. Okay, we are awaiting that authorization from them. Once we have that, so we can also do a training for micro class also, as well as we will able to give you the license for micro also. Okay, so that is what, even we are applied for medium also. Currently we do not have a medium. Medium is currently in approval stage. Okay, so maybe down the line by the July, I think we should get the medium also. Okay, so if people who are interested from upgrading from their license from small to medium also, they can also have a license from Bombay Flying Club once we have the authorization. Okay, then permission. In green zone, you don't require any permission. That's why there is no tick mark. But for yellow and red zone, yes, you require permission. But if you are flying a drone for R&D, education and testing, you don't require permission. Yes, Akash, you have a question.
Hello.
Yes, Akash.
Sir, can a small license registered drone pilot is can fly micro and without like having a certificate?
No. You are only authorized for small to your small. You cannot fly micro. For micro, you need to get a license. That's why there is a license category for micro also.
Yeah. So for that also we have to do training again, or we just
Training is same. Training is same.
yeah.
Only you have to fly that micro class drone for 2 days under
Yeah.
training organization.
Suppose in
Yeah.
future Bombay Flying Club is arranged for micro, so should we directly come without doing the like, or we have
You
to do
don't
the
require to
exam
do theory class. Theory class is not required. You only
and
have
the
to come
exam?
for 2 days. You only
Exam?
have to come to. Yeah, that is only the flying exam.
Okay.
Only for
Understood.
flying.
Understood.
Rest of the things are not required because you are already done for small. If you have
Yeah.
not done small and you are going fresh for micro, then you have to come for 5 days.
Okay.
Okay, so for even for medium also, you can come for 5 days full. You can take off for 5-day training, or you can come for only for 2 days for medium. Once we have
Okay.
you can come for.
Okay.
Okay, so with this we complete our first module. We have taken longer time, but I hope that was very important for you, and you also are well versed with the rules, regulations, and all the things. We can go for a break now. It will be 1 hour lunch break, so we'll come back at 2:40. Okay, so I'll be disconnecting from this Zoom session, Google Meet session, and we'll be. I think admin will connect back again before 5 minutes. That is at 2:35. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the first session, though it was a lengthy session, but which was worthwhile and mandatory for you guys to know about it.